U.S. President Donald Trump has announced his decision to withdraw the United States from Iran's nuclear deal with the world powers and reimpose sanctions against the Islamic Republic.
Therefore, I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. In a few moments, I will sign a presidential memorandum to begin reinstating U.S. nuclear sanctions on the Iranian regime. We will be instituting the highest level of economic sanction. Any nation that helps Iran in its quest for nuclear weapons could also be strongly sanctioned by the United States. America will not be held hostage to nuclear blackmail. As we exit the Iran deal, we will be working with our allies to find a real, comprehensive, and lasting solution to the Iranian nuclear threat. This will include efforts to eliminate the threat of Iran's ballistic missile program, to stop its terrorist activities worldwide, and to block its menacing activity across the Middle East. In the meantime, powerful sanctions will go into full effect. If the regime continues its nuclear aspirations, it will have bigger problems than it has ever had before.
Now, this disastrous move does come as the European allies to the agreement basically begged Donald Trump not to withdraw from the agreement. From the UK to Germany to France, everyone asked that Trump not withdraw from the agreement and that it was not necessary to do so. And in fact, on top of it, they were saying that Iran was in full compliance with the agreement. Yet during his speech in the months leading up to it, Trump claims that Iran repeatedly violated it. The IAEA, the body whose job it is to oversee the agreement, has certified time and again that they were in full compliance of it. Yet the current president has decided that the presentation put on by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is the real source of any claim that Iran has violated the agreement.
Today, we have definitive proof that this Iranian promise was a lie. Last week, Israel published intelligence documents long concealed by Iran, conclusively showing the Iranian regime and its history of pursuing nuclear weapons.
Now, the problem is that experts have already said that all the information that they saw with the Israeli presentation was stuff that they already knew about, stuff that was already around before the agreement had even taken place. So there's nothing new here. There was nothing that would show that Iran was in violation of the agreement. It didn't show any evidence of an ongoing nuclear program inside the country. Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, essentially lied. And this was certified not just by international bodies, but by the United States government themselves, who said that they had seen this information before. So, this begs the question, if this agreement was working, why is the president going ahead with this? Well, it comes down to several factors. One of them, as he did mention in the speech, was the missile program, the ballistic missile program that was put out by Iran. Now, Iran has the right to build the means capable of defending itself, particularly when it's so close to Israel, a country which has repeatedly threatened its existence. Now, the United States doesn't like countries having any ability to defend themselves whatsoever, because, well, look what happened with North Korea. With their ability to have a serious deterrent against invasion, the United States is forced to come to the negotiating table and perhaps even one day back off from them entirely. Now, Iran has developed a significant missile capability, which would certainly be a large deterrent against any country, particularly Israel, from invading them. This is something that will be addressed in a new agreement. I can almost guarantee you that. Which is why Trump brought it up during his speech. Now, another thing to keep in mind here is that the sanctions that will be placed back on the country have a lot to do with Iranian oil. It should be noted that, of course, that Iran is a major country that exports oil. Now, is it a coincidence that as these sanctions will come back on, U.S. development of oil production domestically has significantly increased? So I don't really think that this is a coincidence either. I believe that this is an excuse that's being given to place sanctions on Iranian oil in order for the U.S. to move its own domestic supply into the global market without causing too much of a price change. Of course, there is going to be a price fluctuation as a result, but there would be a glut with the new U.S. supply coming online. But because of that, because of the restrictions of Iranian oil, there will be a relative stability that will be profitable for U.S. oil companies. And I think that's a major part of this. So I think it comes down to, once again, energy politics, which is the center of most U.S. foreign policy. And a lot of it has to do with trying to prevent Iran from having a ballistic missile program, which is not against the law, which is something that's perfectly just that any country would want, especially one that's being threatened by imperialism. It is very interesting to note that in the rest of the speech, which I haven't played here but is available online, particularly on YouTube, the amount of complete and utter lies that Trump went to in order to justify destroying this agreement is absolutely ridiculous. It claims that Iran has killed hundreds of American people. Exactly when did that ever happen? I mean, it's complete and utter nonsense. He lambasted their participation in the Syrian conflict, which is something that the United States is in. Not just directly through its proxies in the YPG, but in its funding of terrorist groups inside the country, and then claimed Iran was a huge human rights abuser. I mean, this really is the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous in this case. And I think it shows the definite level of dishonesty that the United States, and particularly this case, Donald Trump was willing to sink to. We did see that last year in May, Donald Trump, his officials connected to him went to an Israeli intelligence firm and asked to dig up dirt on people who had created the original agreement in 2015 under then President Barack Obama, with the idea of trying to trash them and slander them. So this shows that he never had any intention of legitimately dealing with this agreement in a fair and honorable manner. He had always meant to sabotage it, and this was something that he had planned coming into the White House in order to curb Iran's ability to build ballistic missiles to defend itself from aggression and to try to take Iranian oil off the market. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.